Okay. Oh, wow. All right, Hammy, we're here. You're wearing purple. I know you got a big game tonight, but I want to talk about the team that wears purple in the NFL, the Minnesota Vikings. J.J. McCarthy, those 3 quarters versus the last one. What'd you watch? What'd you learn?
I mean, the good was really, really good as we saw in that fourth quarter. And it wasn't just that he made a few nice plays, though. There were some high level details out of him that I want to dive into here. And I have to be honest, too, the bad wasn't as bad as it might have looked on TV. There were some jitters and some early mistakes, but the struggles had to do a lot with the offense as a whole, not just him. I think they really missed Christian Darrisaw, and they had a few other issues, too. And let's start there with the tape. We'll look at the first third down of the game, 3rd and 2. This is a mesh concept that they're running. Jefferson and Jalen Nailor are supposed to run this at different depth. One's supposed to be a little deeper, one's supposed to be a little shorter. They end up running it at the same level, so they're about to crash into each other here. JJ would have had an opening to hit it in that window. Instead, there's nowhere for him to go with the ball, and the left tackle's being pushed back into his lap. Not an ideal situation for your young quarterback on the first third down of his career. Ends up being a sack, but not really on him. And then later in the game, let's get to this fourth quarter. Justin Jefferson's going to come in motion here. He's going to wheel out into this deep out. Jalen Nailor's going to lift the safety. And just look at the anticipation JJ has here off of play action. That back foot's in the ground. He's ready to throw this ball before Jefferson is out of his break. And he's got a free rusher in his face barreling down on him. We talk about in the draft process, like quarterbacks that can make all the throws. This is the throw we're talking about. That is a big time throw to rifle that in, that deep out with pressure coming in at you. That is beautiful. And then the touchdown to Jefferson. Jefferson's running that dig there, highlighted in yellow. Jalen Nailor's going to lift the coverage for it. But watch where JJ's eyes are. He is staring down Kevin Byard this whole time, reading off of him where he's going with the football. As soon as he sees Byard turn towards the sideline, he knows that he can't get back in position to play this dig from Jefferson. And this is an absolute laser with anticipation. We'll see it again from the end zone view, and it's not just the throw. He has his eyes on Byard, but he feels the pocket collapsing. He doesn't put his eyes on it. He's able to subtly just slide out of the way of that. If he stays there, he gets trampled. That little slide is what opens this up. And look at that laser into the end zone for the score. That is beautiful. And those are the things you look for with the young quarterbacks. So what's going to translate? What's going to allow him to be consistently successful going forward? That pocket movement, making those throws like that deep out. He's got it all, and I'm really excited. I think it's just going to be up from here for him.
That said, Puka Nakua should have gotten NFC Player of the Week. Getting excellent breakdown there. And his line for passing, by the way, too, 12.5. Falcons defense and pretty good last weekend. I still like the over there, though. Minnesota, by the way, if you were hanging out on FanDuel Sportsbook right now on the app, 3.5-point faves, Minnesota in that game as well. Play FanDuel. Tons of generosities in the works for week 2. You can get a 50% profit boost token on any bet for all Sunday games, as long as the odds are minus 200 or longer. You can't do better than that. 50% PBT. You can also get 50% PBT and use it on any live bet during the witching hour, which I guess is 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern. Enjoy week 2 and have some fun, clean entertainment, little sprinkle over on FanDuel Sportsbook. Love that. I wanted to ask you, if I could, about J.J. McCarthy. You just named NFC Offensive Player of the Week. I know you are a Sam Darnold guy. After this game, did you see something in JJ that was special, maybe in the context of how you also saw Sam, who was a 14-3 quarterback last year for this team?
I just need to see a lot more of it. You know, obviously, he's a young guy. I think he threw for 142 yards, 43 yards. I don't know. Remember many guys getting player of the week with 140 yards passing, but he played really well in the fourth. He executed and completed some passes, but I also saw the Chicago Bears fall apart. And you know, if I want to see this against the Green Bay Packers, the Detroit Lions, I want to see this against guys that we know, guys that are established, defenses that are established. Because if you get it and you get some success, then it's great. But this was a 17-game season that we had to judge Sam Darnold on, and we're judging this guy off a good quarter of football. And so the jury's still out for me. You know, I wasn't sure what he was coming out of Michigan. I wasn't sure they took him with the 10th pick. I wasn't sure about that. His tape didn't seem like it was a top 10 quarterback's tape. But he is a winner. He's a guy that's won in high school, he's won in college, and that matters when you talk about the entirety of his career and evaluating him. But Kevin O'Connell was one of the best coordinators in the National Football League, and I love the positions that he put him in. He figured it out. He found some throws that he was comfortable making. McCarthy made those throws. He made a play with his legs. That was a great play and a great play design and a great play call in a critical moment when he ran it in for the touchdown. So you definitely got to give him credit for what he's done. But I just didn't feel comfortable, especially in the first half. Some of the mistakes that were made, but those could be youth. As we see more in the season, as we see more games, the picture will play itself out. But I'm still not bought in.
I think that the sentiment is that Sam couldn't win the big game, and that maybe because that we think that JJ is a winner, he'll win those big games when they come down the stretch. You can say that about
90% of the quarterbacks in the National Football League. There's only 4 of them that have rings. So then you could say the rest of them couldn't win the big one. Could you say that about Herbert? Could you say that about Burrow? Could you say that about Lamar? Could you say that about Josh Allen at times? Like, if that's the barometer of judging quarterbacks, then none of them. Then you can't mention any of them.
I would say this: I'm a big fan of JJ, just his presence. I don't watch college, but he's a winner. You can say that. I'm a huge fan of Sam. They made it for a reason. I like Kevin and all that, but he should not have gotten NFC Player of the Week, in my opinion. He looked amazing, but that belongs to. And I'd like your opinion. And just quickly I would have given it to Puka. Puka had an unbelievable game. He's bleeding down his freaking face, and I like JJ, but that was one quarter. That was crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, I thought it was crazy, but that's the league. They want the quarterback to be the best, and he played well in the fourth. So, but I thought Puka could have got it too.
Yeah, Puka against Stingley, that whole thing, amazing.